Guys, this is the story of a world where more than 80% of the land has been taken over by the demon lord. To save this world, a hero named Seiya is summoned, but Seiya is the type of person who prefers to be fully prepared before fighting any battle. Many different goddesses also help him with this. In the beginning of the story, a goddess named Rista is called and is given the task of defeating the most dangerous villain ever. But after hearing this, Rista completely panics and wonders how she is supposed to do this when even the most powerful goddesses failed. Then she learns about a certain hero who might be capable of doing this job. Seeing his stats, she becomes extremely excited and thinks that after this mission she will finally be promoted to a high-rank goddess. So Rista summons that hero, and yes, that hero is Seiya. After arriving, Seiya is informed about the rules of this new world, along with the fact that if he dies, he will be sent back to his original world. But Seiya shows absolutely no interest in any of this, which makes Rista furious, and she opens the portal to the new world. But Seiya says that before entering the world, he wants to be perfectly prepared. After this, Rista meets a goddess named Arya, and she starts explaining her terrible situation to her. Arya then shows Rista Seiya's training place, which is even more intense than before. Seiya trains non-stop, doing heavy training, millions of push-ups, and only after this does he appear even slightly ready. Meanwhile, Seiya checks every food item before eating and even makes the goddess taste it first, because he suspects there might be poison. Later the goddess gives Seiya a communication doll, so he can call her anytime he needs. A whole week passes, but Seiya doesn't call Rista even once. But suddenly the communication doll starts ringing, so Rista rushes to Seiya. Seiya tells her that he is finally fully prepared to enter that world. Now, we see that Seiya has greatly increased his level. Rista opens the portal and both of them arrive in the city named Adenoa's Tower. Here, Rista tells Seiya that they need to buy some armor, so they go to a shop. But Seiya ends up buying not one, not two, but 3 sets of backup armor, including backup for the backup. Rista refuses this idea and buys only a single simple suit. In the next shop, Seiya orders 30 smoke bombs, saying he wants to be ready for any danger. A girl working there tells them that only small slimes appear here and there's no need to be scared. She also gives Seiya a lucky flower. But suddenly her father arrives and scolds her for her behavior. Then Seiya finds a slime, and he kills it with an extremely powerful attack. But even then, he doesn't believe it's dead, so he keeps attacking it again and again. But suddenly a girl named Chaos appears, one of the top 4 villains. Her stats are far higher than Seiya's. She says she knew that a hero would be sent to save this world, but since he hasn't leveled up enough, defeating him will be easy. Hearing this, Seiya immediately starts running away at full speed. And seeing this, Chaos also begins chasing after him. But soon Seiya regains his focus and says that he always prefers to be fully prepared before doing anything. And now, to kill Chaos he is 100% prepared. Meanwhile, Chaos is about to kill the girl's father when Seiya attacks with Wind Slash. Chaos dodges it and says his aim is as useless as he is. But we see that Seiya actually wanted to free the man using the Wind Cutter. Then Chaos sees Seiya's level and is shocked. He has leveled up an insane amount in such a short time. A pro player always hides another secret technique inside their secret technique. When I hear this line, it reminds me of someone else. But suddenly, a huge demon emerges from inside Chaos's body and says one attack from him will end Seiya's game. Chaos also uses her tackle attack, but Seiya stops it with just one hand. This clearly means Seiya was showing fake levels all this time, and now he has even put a lock on his real levels. The goddess then uses her mega eyes to break the lock, and sees Seiya's true stats. They are extremely high. Chaos uses her demon ending technique, but Seiya instantly uses Phoenix Drive, and slices Chaos into pieces. Seeing this, Rista hugs Seiya and asks why he hid his level from her. "At least you could have told me," she says. Seiya replies, "If a brain monster controls your mind, it would learn everything about me. That's why I will never reveal my details to anyone." At that moment, all the villagers arrive and praise Seiya. Milarka says he wants to organize a party for Seiya, but Seiya says he has no time for such things. Instead, he starts collecting the remains of the monster, and uses his Hellfire technique on the trash, to make sure the demon can never revive again. But because of these extremely strong attacks, the entire village accidentally catches fire. The next morning, after the fire is put out, the villagers ask Seiya to leave the village. While Seiya is leaving, the girl and her father arrive and give him some money. But Seiya gets angry and says, "Next time, you should give me a bit more money," and leaves immediately. After that, the goddess starts explaining the route towards the next village. But Seiya says her words have no value anymore. "You said there wouldn't be any dangerous monsters here, yet we faced an extremely dangerous one." So he decides that he wants to return to the goddess world again, to do even more training, and become fully prepared for the next battle. Therefore, both of them use the portal, and return to the goddess world once again. She tells everything to Ariadu and says that Seiya keeps training all the time and never pays attention to her at all. On the other hand, wants to become like Ariado and gain control over all the boys. But Seiya arrives, so she introduces herself. Seiya says he is bored training alone, and now wants an opponent. Rista tells him to go fight monsters, but Seiya says that could be dangerous for him. Arya Ito says he should fight gods, because gods are not allowed to kill him, so his life won't be in danger. So the three of them go to a god named Celsius. Arya Ito requests him to train Seiya, and since she is a high-ranking goddess, Celsius cannot refuse. But Celsius warns Seiya, "My training isn't for random nobodies. If you can't endure my strikes, I'll kick you out with a boot on your backside." Thus, Seiya and Celsius begin their training. The next day in the canteen, Rista meets Celsius. He says Seiya is improving very fast. The next day Rista meets him again, but this time Celsius says something is wrong. Seiya is leveling up way too quickly. On the third day, when Rista comes to speak to him, she sees Celsius completely depressed. He says, "What is happening to me? How can a human torture me like this?" On the fourth day, Rista cannot find Celsius anywhere. She walks around and finally finds him hiding in a corner. He says, "Seiya is already 3 times stronger than me, but he still isn't satisfied. He keeps beating me like I'm a dog." Just then Seiya arrives and says, "You lied to me and hid here. That is unacceptable. As punishment, you will train with me all day." Hearing this, the warrior throws his sword into the water, and says he will never fight again, but Seiya still drags him away for training. Later, the goddess Ishtar calls Rista, and praises them for defeating chaos, but she warns that they can sense a huge attack about to happen in a nearby village. To stop it, she sends Rista and Seiya immediately. After that, both of them arrive at a village called Samula, but the villagers there are running away in fear. They say that the entire village is filled with undead monsters. Rista explains that when a person dies and then comes back to life, they are called undead. These undead mix among normal humans, but their disguise can be revealed using holy water. However, Seiya manages to get only 10 bottles of holy water. Then they go to a church, where they meet 2 children named Elialu and Mash, who came here to help the priest. The father, priest, starts introducing himself, but suddenly Seiya pours holy water on his head. His disguise is exposed in front of everyone, and they see that the priest is actually an undead. The priest then says he has learned many powerful undead techniques, but he also warns them, "Tomorrow morning, my 10,000 undead soldiers will arrive. Be prepared to face them." Seiya immediately activates his Maximum Inferno technique, and begins to burn the undead priest, but then Seiya also pours holy water on the goddess, the sister, and both children, to confirm that none of them have secretly become undead. After that, Seiya and Ishtar check the stats of the 2 children. Their stats are extremely low. Seeing this, Seiya says, "I'm not taking weak amateurs like them into my team." And right at that moment, the warriors of the village arrive and start asking questions. But the sister, Nun, tells them that an undead monster had come disguised as a priest, and he is the one who turned the church into this condition. Then she points at Seiya and says that this boy named Seiya is actually a hero, and he is the one who saved all of them. But the danger is not over yet. There are still 10,000 more undead preparing to attack the village. Hearing this, the warriors beg Seiya to help them. But Seiya calmly asks, "And how much money will I get for this?" The warriors reply, "You will surely get 1,000 gold coins." Hearing this, Seiya says, "You losers don't need to go there at all. I will finish all those undead by myself." Then Seiya even tells the goddess, "Rista, you're useless too," and he walks away. Rista gets angry and uses her special divine magic to release her wings, and starts following Seiya. But after flying for a short distance, Rista begins to lose her breath. Seeing this, Seiya goes to pick her up, and this moment feels very romantic to Rista. But suddenly Seiya speeds up like crazy while carrying her, and her wings almost break off from the pressure. Soon they notice a massive army of undead marching toward them. Immediately, Seiya uses Meteor Strike, summoning a giant meteor that crashes down on all of them. Every undead soldier is completely destroyed in the explosion, and this is why Seiya didn't want anyone else to come near him. His attacks are too dangerous. But Seiya says, "I had 15,000 mana before, and after using this attack, I only have 13,000 left, so I need to train again." The next day, Ilialo comes to Rista and says that when Seiya refused to take Mash into his team, Mash left angrily, and since then he has gone missing. So both of them rush to Seiya's room, but Seiya instantly shows them an ultimate sword he created, and says, "Rista drops her hair everywhere she goes. Using those fallen hairs, I crafted this weapon." At that moment, a servant arrives carrying a package for Seiya. but Saya says, there could be a bomb inside. Rista, you open it. Rista opens it, and inside is only a mirror. But this is no ordinary mirror. Through it, they can see Mash, who is trapped somewhere, and next to him stands the demon Deathmagla. Deathmagla says, I heard you defeated 10,000 undead alone. That is all I needed to know. You don't have to come here. But suddenly, Saya strikes through the mirror and cuts Deathmagla's hand off, and says, I knew this kind of situation could happen someday. That's why I created this sword. Then all three quickly return to the goddess realm. Saya explains that he cut off the demon's hand to confuse him temporarily. During that time, they must find a way to save Mash. They go to Isther and ask her to show them the exact location of Deathmagla. Isther says it is forbidden for a goddess to interfere, but still she shows them the place. The monster appears. Saya attacks the monster guarding the location, but nothing works. Rista realizes that this monster is extremely powerful and invincible to normal attacks, but then she notices it can be touched by human hands, and can be defeated only with ice magic. However, this is a big problem because Saya can use only fire magic, but Saya calmly says, I knew someday someone might exploit my weakness of having only fire magic, so I prepared for situations like this. Then Saya begins punching the monster with his own hands, and says, I have sharpened my hands to be as strong as my sword. During the attack, the monster suddenly freezes completely. Saya explains that he created an amulet using Rista's hair, allowing him to use ice magic too. He has 10 to 20 more such amulets, each with different powers. Finally, Saya uses Phoenix Strike, and destroys the monster completely. Now, it's time to show Deathmagla his true place.